Righto, g'day lads. Welcome to the Friday night football review live on YouTube between the Rabbitohs and the Cowboys. Obviously, me and Sam are two Cowboys supporters, so we're going to go through the game. Rabbitohs were victorious tonight, 46 points to 18 down there at McDonald Jones Stadium in Newcastle. Look, I don't want to be here because it was depressing, and I just feel like going to a corner and staying there for the remainder of the night, but it is what it is. And Sam, how you going, mate? After that performance,
I'm okay, Nick. Thanks for asking. I have a lot to say, mate. I'm gonna go as nuclear as I ever have on this platform before. Let's get into it, buddy.
Well, let's talk about the start of the game. So I've got my notes down here from my review earlier, and mate, I don't know about you, but in the first 10 minutes, I thought South Sydney were rolling us in the middle. First 10. And then when South went for that penalty goal to make it 2-0, I thought we were very lucky that they didn't tap and go. Because I was going 10 minutes, South had all the ball, they looked pretty good, and then they went for a penalty goal, which I was actually really happy about. What were your thoughts on that?
I saw what you saw as well, and I saw what they did on Sunday against South Sydney. I thought South's defence to start the game did exactly what they did against the Tigers. They got in their face, and that got them on the board. Full credit to North Queensland, though, man. As you and I were just saying in the green room there, I thought that was a good half of footy. I thought that was a really cool half of footy. And then one mistake, a forward pass from dummy half changed it, mate. And we folded like a wet napkin, Nick.
Yeah.
Didn't they?
We will get into it. There's no doubt about it.
Oh.
There is no doubt. We'll definitely get into it, but we'll get into it after that. 15th minute, Drinkwater levels it up with a penalty goal. Now, I understand leveling the game up at 2 apiece. I totally understand it. But when you're playing a top 4 side who are without a fair few of their superstar players, wouldn't you tap and go and try and get early scoreboard pressure on them? I feel like going for goal, you're trying to play like South, because we all know Wayne Bennett coach sides that they love to go for goal. Wouldn't you just tap and go there?
I actually agree with just taking the 2. Just get yourself back on level terms. I know that they restart, we gather possession, and we're fighting to get back into enemy territory. But let's just get the scoreboard back on level terms and sort of reset at 0-all or 2-all as it was.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, if I was coaching, I probably would have said just play on, and if you get another penalty, then take the 2 points, because I feel like at that part of the game, it felt like we had no ball, and it was our first time down there really attacking. I feel like we probably should have kept going, but I see what you mean. Get it back to 0-all pretty much. But then, 20th minute, 18th minute actually, the Cowboys, we put up a bomb. And then Cohen Hess always, hang on, where are you, Sam? You there? Oh, there we go. The connection was sort of frozen. No, you're right. All good.
Good.
We put up a bomb there in the 18th minute, tapped back by Cohen Hess. And then Tom Dearden ends up scoring the first try. I thought it was a pretty lucky try for us, but it was one that I would take. I thought putting up a bomb was probably the right move there, targeting the young fullback, Blake Tafe, whatever his name is. So I thought that was a good try from Dearden.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was a good try, and it made up for his shank that went directly west out on the full, mate. Tom Dearden, can I jump the gun ahead here, mate?
Go for it.
Todd Payton said in his press conference that he likes Tom Dearden because he's a tough little player, and he's brought his Brisbane Broncos form to North Queensland and offered absolutely nothing again.
I will get into Tom Dearden later on. So,
Sure.
I haven't seen the press conference yet. I don't even know if I want to watch it. Normally I do. So I'll probably watch it later tonight when I'm half asleep. And if I hear anything stupid, I'll be wide awake again. But so we scored the first try if we did, and we go out to an 8-2 lead after 18 minutes. We're looking pretty good. And then we just continue with the momentum. Jason Taumalolo in the 20th minute, just boom, just absolutely rolls over Tom Burgess and Mark Nichols, and then he puts on a flick to Reece Robson, back to Dejan Assi, and then he throws it over to Shane Wright, who scores over on the left-hand side. I don't even know how Shane Wright's in the team still, but he ends up scoring a try. I guess right place, right time. I thought that was a really, really big part of the game that we were on top there. I thought that was a good try.
I live on a ground floor in an apartment complex, mate, and I'm telling you, the 5th floor would have heard me screaming when they scored that try, Nick. I went ballistic. That was one of the tries of the season. And they completed their set off the top of my head. Correct me if I'm wrong, mate. But they completed their set after points, and that's something that they haven't been able to do a lot of in recent weeks, mate. So they kept the pressure on. But I feel like even though they completed that set after points, Rabbitohs came back with a remarkable piece of work, a pinball, brilliant bit of work from the young fullback, Taff, I think it is. Is it Taff?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. No, he did well. I think going out to that 12-2 lead was pretty important. We were looking okay at that part of the game. I thought we were on top. And then, like you said, Blake Tafe. I mean, that was a really soft try. Alex Johnson had so much room. And it's like, I don't want to be critical, but Kyle Feld's effort there to chase back on the inside was really weak. It's like he saw the ball go inside and sort of just gave up on him, going, what are you doing, bro? Really?
I saw what you saw too. Yeah, I do agree with you, but just the precision and how quick it all went for them, because let alone that, the reason why it's a lot more soft, the reason why it was as soft as what you're implicating it was too, was the first time they actually really raided down our right side and used their lethal left side. The first time, and they cracked us, mate.
Yeah, no, that was the Blake Tafe try was disappointing. So anyway, 23rd minute, Cowboys are still up, 12 points to 6. And then this is where I started to get really cranky. 31st minute, Tarnane Milne scores. Murray Talangi, what is he doing? Why is he not talking with Connolly Lamelu? I don't know what the go is there. I don't even know why Connolly Lamelu was even back in the team in the first place. I've never rated him ever since he played. So I thought that was ridiculous. So Tarnane Milne scores, and next minute, it's 12-all. What did you think of that part of the game? Our defense out there was pretty soft.
Yeah, Connolly Lemuelu stood there like a statue. Dejan Arce was coming in on the inside, and Connolly, the poor bugger, didn't trust Dejan Arce, who had his first game for the season. Murray Tuolangi didn't stay on his man. That's one of my biggest gripes in the game. Stay on your man, and you've got to trust your inside bloke. You've got to. And Connolly Lemuelu, I admit, like he came back from an injury after 6 weeks, but you're a first grader. You've got to do better than that. There's got to be better communication as well. And it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing the way they scored that try.
Shithouse defense. I was disappointed with that. And then, it's 12-all after 31 minutes, and I'm starting to panic because I'm going, great. 12-2 lead, gone within 10 minutes. Absolutely gone. And then this is where I lost the plot. Again, Tarnane Milne. Oh, my God, he scores another try. Talangi again, he just comes flying out of his wing, and I'm going, what are you doing? And Tarnane Milne scores a very similar try to the one that he just scored. I was pretty annoyed with that. So South Sydney take the lead, and at this stage, I was starting to get cranky. What about you?
Carbon copy, mate, of what happened only 4 minutes earlier. No communication. Soft. Essentially the same thing. It's soft, mate. Pathetic.
Connolly Lamelu needs to wake the fuck up. I've never liked him. I've never rated him. He's a shit defender. Does nothing in attack. When he first started playing for us, everyone goes, oh, yeah, this kid's going to be like a Jesse Ramian type bloke. I'm going, you're fucking joking. He's nothing like him. So
he's a small body, isn't he?
Yeah, he's not great. Like I don't know how he's in the team. I know the Hammer and Val were out tonight due to Origin, but if you're going to get picked in the centres, for crying out loud, learn to defend, for crying out loud. Jesus Christ. So anyway, Souths are up 16-12, and then I mean, if we had to win it at halftime 16-12 down, I would have been okay with that. I really would have, because that way it's only a try in it. And then 37th minute, speaking of wingers coming in, Kyle Feld just comes in because David Bowen's got no idea as well. Alex Johnson just smokes David Bowen for speed. It's unbelievable. Johnson scores. Cody Walker's pass was simply world class. Mate, talking about edges can't defending, the Kyle Feld David Bowen combination's been terrible all year when they've been together. And I got to say, with Talangi being bad in defence, Kyle Feld wasn't much better either, was he?
No, he wasn't. And this is where I got to try and figure out how I'm going to say the things I really want to say. So otherwise I'll just branch off into different areas. But Kyle Feld's form over the past 5 weeks has been reserve grade quality, mate. In my opinion, mate. And David Bowen, he was okay when he returned. He had 2 or 3 good games in a row, and he's dropped off awfully and has gone back to his 2018, 2019 form. I thought Lemuelu and Kyle Felt earlier in the piece this season were starting to form an okay combination. They were still having points put on them, and they were creating something. But obviously, that might be what the combination is next week when Hammer hopefully comes back into the squad. But just on Hammer and Valentine Holmes, you just picked up on it there. The scoreline is not going to be a whole lot different, even if they play tonight, Nick.
I agree.
Thing, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's awful. And I said to you guys last week, I think we've gone backwards. And we've gone even further backwards this week, man.
Yeah, it's frustrating. Very frustrating. You know, it's going to be interesting to see how they go next week against the Roosters up there in Townsville. We'll have players back, and there'll be question marks on if Tedesco and Crichton back up from Origin, which I don't think they will, because they'll be celebrating New South Wales, holding up the shield and that, so they'll probably be drunk, but who knows? So half-time, South Sydney lead 22-12, and I'm thinking, well, we've got to score first or we're going to get clapped. And then, well, I think I might let you have this part in a minute. The 43rd minute, Tom Dearden kicks the ball, gets hit late by Liam Knight, right in the face, right in the head. Why is he not sin bin? Dearden gets back up like a good player and a good bloke would. Tough player would get up. Next set, probably 3 or 4 tackles later. The young hooker, Mama Zules, I can't pronounce his last name, but, you know, the guy that played dummy half tonight for Souths.
Mama Wanker.
Yeah. Lukey had nowhere to go. He had to make the tackle, and unfortunately, it got him in the face, and he ended up going to the sin bin. And then that's pretty much the end of our night. Mate, the floor is yours if you want to discuss that.
In round 10, he would have been sent to the sin bin. Liam Knight put his hands up and went, "It's not me." He gave himself up. Todd Payton in the press conference said effectively Matt Shakin was pointing to Liam Knight, asking the question. I like Matt Shakin. I think he's probably the best ref in the game for me personally.
Yeah.
But they butchered it. They bloody well butchered it. And it compounded on us 60 seconds, 2 minutes later, when that lanky big bastard Lukey copped him on the chin, copped Mama Wabba Wabba on the chin, and then he got sent to the sin bin. He got
Mama
sent to
Wabba.
the sin bin. Mama Wabba Wabba. Sorry, mate. And look, consistent wise, I think a sin bin unfortunately was the correct decision, Nick. I think it was the correct decision, but and I think we wouldn't be blowing up as much as what we are if Knight got a sin bin. Do you know what I mean, man? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree and disagree with some of that. Well, what I will say, Liam Knight, how the fuck do the referees miss that? For one, you've got a
But they
ref on
didn't,
the
Nick. They didn't, Nick. They didn't want to do anything about it, man.
Liam Knight, high tackle. One referee there checking. 2 touch judges. The bunker's watching everything that's going on. You've got 7 referees in the bunker, probably about 7,000 of them. Still don't know what it was. And then Lukey, what's he meant to fucking do? You know, if you go back to Magic Round for a minute, the Lachlan Burr one on Tedesco was absolutely laughable. I was at the game live and lost my voice. But tonight, the Lukey one, that was literally just as bad as the fucking one from Lachlan Burr did on Tedesco at Magic Round. Disgraceful. Look, you know, I'm not going to point the blame at the fucking... I'm not going to say that the Cowboys were robbed. South Sydney kicked our ass. They deserved the win. But that decision, it gave us no hope of coming back in the game. You know, if Liam Knight goes to the sin bin, good. That's what should have happened. The Lukey thing should never have happened because Liam Knight should have been in the bin and we would have had a penalty and we would have been just over the halfway line. Now, you know, regardless of that decision right there, if Lukey gets charged for by the judiciary, that's a fucking disgrace. You know, I've seen players get sent off this year and not even be charged by the judiciary because they got it wrong. The Takiaho one on Nathan Cleary a couple of weeks ago, I think he got binned and he didn't even get charged by the judiciary. I'm going, well, that means they got it wrong, but they don't want to admit they got it wrong because they're too afraid of the outcome, what's going to happen. So, you know, the sin bin from Lukey, I thought it was a disgusting decision. It should not have been a sin bin. Regardless, I'll tell you right now, if it was just a penalty and South Sydney score, I'm going to sit here and cop it on the chin and say, yeah, too good. But because it's a sin bin, it gives us no way on coming back into the contest. They kick a penalty goal in the 50th, 44th minute, whatever, and then Johnson scores. Game over. 30-12, it's over. It's too hard. 12 men on the field. Yeah, good luck defending that. It's hard enough defending with fucking 12 men, you know. Can you imagine if we had another player go to the bin? We would have been down by about 70 at one point. So, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say that the referees are arseholes or anything, but that decision was disgraceful. Disgraceful.
I agree with you, mate. Nick. So we're going to stop there at that Alex Johnston try, right? So I'm just going to take a step back and say something that I haven't said this entire time yet, and that's South Sydney were indeed the better side. There's no way that sin binning cost us any chance or what. You know what I mean? They were clinical. They were very, very good. Now, I know that we were down a man for 10 minutes and we only allowed them that 2 points for a large majority of that 10 minutes, which is a good piece of credit to the boys. But Kyle Felt just came out of Origin camp. You would have thought he would have learned a few things as well, sort of thing. And the way he rushed up and left 15 to 20 meters of space on his right side, hoping that David Bowen could pick up the pace and tackle Johnston and hope that Drinkwater can come across the field and tackle him over into the sideline. What are you doing, Kyle Felt? Stay on your man. But he left 20 meters of free air to Johnston, who scored a bloody hat trick tonight, mate. That knocked me off, man.
Yeah. You know, we will get into the coaching as well. I'm going to go on a rant about that very soon. I'm not happy with the way it was coached tonight. But so Johnson scores a hat trick, a very fucking soft try. Well, actually, no, it was Johnson in the 50th minute, which got him his double, 30-12, and then 58th minute. This made me fucking sick. Tom Burgess, my God, where do I begin there? My God, Jake Granville got...
I'll tell you where you begin. You put Shane Wright out onto the bench. That's what you do. I'll say this as well, Nick. Dunn and Wright proved my point right tonight in that there's no dimension to our second rowers.
That's right.
They offered nothing. I get Shane Wright was in the right place at the right time in scoring that try in the first half. But they did nothing. Our edge forward did nothing, mate. Now, granted, they probably didn't get the best service, but they did nothing done and right. Oh, man.
Mitchell Dunn thinks he's fucking Wade Graham. He thinks he's a ball-playing fucking back rower. He's fucking shit. Shane Wright, how is he in the team? I mean, you want to talk about when fucking Lukey got dropped a few weeks ago just for bringing in, some of the players back in the side. I'm going, why? Why? Put him in there. Shane Wright sucks. He sucks.
Shane Wright is in there because he's okay at defense until he got ran over the top of by Burgess. That was an awesome tackle.
I can just see next week, I can just see fucking Angus Crichton rolling straight through him next week and scoring 2 or 3 tries.
While he's drunk, after he's just had a party with him. Exactly. But no, I don't think the Blues players will back up for the Roosters, but that's not the point. Yeah. Shane Wright got bottled over, mate. There's zero confidence in that bloke.
Oh.
Isn't there?
He got no idea. So, anyway, Burgess scores, South's 36-12. At this point, I'm just sitting there going, just score some points and show some fucking pride. I was like, righto, the game's gone. Just score a couple of tries and just show some pride. Play for the fucking jersey. And then Tane Milne, he gets a hat-trick. I mean, Murray Talangi, fucking Connolly Lamelu. I've got absolutely no idea. So, I mean, what can you say about that try? I mean, Tane Milne hat-trick as well. I mean, what's going on?
Well, if I remember it correctly, there was a try, that Tane Milne try came about from an exceptional bat-on play. I might be wrong. I might be getting tries mixed up. But
That's right. Yeah. I remember that, yeah.
There was an awesome bat-on, I think it was from Walker, that was out of this world. But that other Milne try that came in the second half, he what was it? It was Tuolangi and Lemuelu, you're right. And I think it was Lemuelu that came in. Tuolangi didn't mark up on his man and left 10 meters of more space on his left. Thankfully, Drinkwater did make a good attempt to come around, but Milne just said, don't argue with me, you bastard, and scored over the top of him, man.
Yeah.
It was 6s and 7s. It was dozens and centuries, mate. It was ridiculous. It was awful the way that or the lack of communication in that Milne try, Nick. One jetted out of the line, one stayed stationary, and the other bloke had to come across the back, but just got belted over the top of.
Yeah, not good enough. So South Sydney at this point are leading 40 points to 12, and I'm sitting there. I don't even want to watch the rest of the game. And then Johnson gets that hat-trick, that try where they just went double movement or not. To be honest, I didn't give a flying fuck because the game was over. Johnson gets a hat-trick. At this point, I don't think me and you give a shit. We're just sitting there going, righto, this is going to be a fucking rant later. And then in the 77th minute, Drinkwater kicks it to Kyle Felton, scores. Surprised it was even a try because Drinkwater ran behind his own play and kicked it. I'm going, they're going to pull this back, but they give us a try and full time. Rabbitohs 46, Cowboys 18. That's the final score. I'm glad we didn't concede 50, but not that it really mattered. Not that it mattered because we already conceded 50 this year. But honestly, I find it very hard to find some positives in this game.
That's why you and I are on here now, mate. As dying-the-wool Cowboy supporters, mate. I think you said this in the green room too, man. I thought Jason Taumalolo was our best player. However, it was so graphic and it was so concerning. The absolute minute he went off onto the sidelines, the Cowboys' defense, the structure, everything that they worked so well at in that opening half hour went away, completely disintegrated as soon as our starting forward pack went off.
Yeah.
It was graphic. It's concerning. And this is something else that Todd Payton said, Nick, in his press conference. They're an immature team. And I have to agree with that. Some people might think that's not as harsh. I think it is, and I agree with it. They are an immature team. Lukey and Gilbert had zero impact. Absolutely not. Lachlan Burr, who's a little bit more experienced, offered nothing. Jake Granville came on and did something in the last quarter, admittedly.
Yeah.
I think our hookers for the past 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks now, have probably been the best part of our games, mate. Robson and Granville. But anyway.
Why the fuck is Tom Gilbert not playing back row?
Do you mean at like 11 or 12 or?
Yeah. He should be. Tom Gilbert should be second row.
You reckon?
I've had enough of this Shane Wright shit. He's terrible. Now, I said before, we're going to get into this part as well. Hang on. You there, bro? Your connection was a bit blah there. Oh, there we go. Anyway, I think you're there.
Hey, man, I'm here.
Yeah, all right, sweet as. I'm going to go on a bit of a rant about Todd Payton now. I'm going to fucking give it to him. Now, Todd Payton got the coaching rotation completely fucking wrong tonight. He fucked this right up. Now, Tamalolo was absolutely destroying the Rabbitohs forward pack all by himself, 131 metres in the first half. He looked outstanding. We were playing well. We were leading 12-2. Goes off the field, like you said. Gilbert, Lukey, and Bird did nothing off the bench at all whatsoever, and they really struggled. And then Souths get on the roll. Tamalolo comes back on the field when we're down 30-12. I'm going, what is the fucking point? I'm bringing him on the field now if we're getting bashed like this. It made zero sense. And then they used Jake Granville completely wrong. Bringing him on with 20 minutes to go was fucking stupid. He should have been out there at the 30th minute mark. Bring him on before half time. We were starting to get a little bit pumped there. South had momentum. That's when you bring Granville on to come on and just explode and run from dummy half and maybe get a trial or two or set one up because, if you lose the momentum, Granville's the bloke you bring on the field from dummy half. He's going to bring attack. Robson looked a little bit tired out there. If anything, put Robson in the 13, put Granville at 9, just let him go. Let him go. And I thought that was dumb. And then, oh, mate, I got to say this. What the fuck does Todd Payton see in Jordan McLean? Jordan McLean has started in every game this year he's played. He has been awful. Absolutely awful, Jordan McLean. He is so shit. I want him gone from the club. I can't stand him. And the other one I want to mention as well. Why isn't Corey Jensen in the 17? He should be in this team somewhere. I don't give a fuck where he is. He needs to be in this team. And I genuinely believe that Todd Payton has got the coaching rotation completely wrong. Now, I've been saying this for years. When you're going to play Tamalolo, give him 25 minutes of the first half in the middle. The last 10 minutes of the first half, from the 25th minute to the 35th minute, put him on a fucking edge. Put him in the back row with someone with drink water or something for the last 10 minutes. 25th minute, 35th minute. Get Tamalolo wide the ball. Can you imagine the defensive line? They'd be getting nervous if Tamalolo's on an edge, running at him full belt. They would shit themselves. It'd be like Kiko and Fafita and all these sort of players running at. It's a nightmare. And then you take him off at the 35th minute. You bring him back about the 50th minute, so you're still getting 65 minutes out of him at least. So, I just think the coaching rotation is completely wrong. You have a look at the bench tonight. Granville, 25 minutes. Gilbert, 27. Bird, 25. Lukey, 24. Tamalolo only played 58 minutes tonight. He should be playing at least 65, 70. I don't care about what they're trying to do with this whole, you got to rest him for the future. You should be focusing on right now. Don't worry about 3 or 4 years from now because Todd Payton might not even be there in 3 or 4 years' time if we keep putting out mediocre performances like this shit.
He wouldn't be there halfway through next year if things are staying the same, Todd Payton, because
Yeah.
it hasn't worked so far this season. We've gotten lucky against the clubs we faced when we went on that winning run earlier this year, but ultimately, so far, it's not working. Now, there's a lot to unpack with what you just said, right? So I've got to try and do the best I can here. So Jason Tamalolo, I completely agree. Do not try to fix what isn't broken. You've got to maintain the rage. You boys were up by 10 points against South Sydney and you took Tamalolo off. If you did put Granville on, take McLean out. You saw what Canberra did last night when Tom Starling and Josh Hodgson were on the paddock at the same time as well. You do then have JT out on the edges and terrorize the edges, and they were there. They were there to be taken. So Jordan McLean, ultimately, since he's been purchased, he's been a dud.
Yeah.
In his defense, I think his past month has probably been his best since he's been at the club. I think it's been better since he's been. It's been better over the past month. But you've got to maintain the rage, Todd Payton. And it was clear, it was evident that Robson was getting knackered. He and Hess were responsible for that forward pass out of dummy half. And from that moment, they folded like a wet napkin, Nick. They did, mate.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. And, you know, it's disappointing because, you know, you have a look at the ladder. I mean, we're currently still sitting in 11th. We're going to end up, by the looks of things, probably 12th by the end of the round because Titans have got the bye, I think. Oh, no, we're on the same points as the Titans. Oh, no. Yeah, I think we will be on 12th. We'll be 12th after this round now. And if the Warriors beat the Sharks, we'll be 13th. So it's crazy from that 7 to 13 spot. Anything could really happen from there on. But, my God, so inconsistent. I don't even know where we go from here. We have a few tough games ahead. You know, if you have a look at the fixture, we've got the Roosters next week up there in Townsville, which – To our case, it might be winnable for us because
it is winnable. Yes, I agree.
Tedesco might not back up and Crichton might not be there. And then the week after that, we play Melbourne in Townsville, which is going to be a fucking bloodbath. So good luck. Then we play Brisbane, which we should really beat Brisbane, but they're our biggest rivals. So form goes out the window for that game, really. Then we play the Titans, which I think we will beat the Titans. I think the Titans are very overrated, and I think we're playing better than the Titans are, even though they have been up and down a bit like us. I think the Cowboys, Titans, and the Warriors are probably very similar teams at the moment, both up and down. You don't really know what they're going to do one week from the next. So the Titans is the game that we really should win. So we should beat Brisbane and the Gold Coast back-to-back. Then we play the West Tigers in Townsville. I mean, we beat them at Leichhardt, which was a surprise, and they are considered our bogey team, so we really should beat the Tigers as well. But then after that, we play the Eels at Bankwest, which will probably lose that game because we all know how good Parramatta are at Bankwest. We'll probably lose to the Eels because they're a top 4 side and we're not. And then after that, round 24, we play the Dragons, which is going to be a very important game because if the Cowboys win and lose games that I think will happen, then the Dragons versus Cowboys game could be the end of the season for one of those sides. With the whole Dragons situation with Paul Vaughan this week, and the Cowboys can't go good with the good sides, but they go okay with the teams around them. That Dragons-Cowboys game around 24 could be a very important game. It could be a game when the winner can make the 8, the loser could be gone. So that'll be an important game. And then we play Manly final round up in Townsville, which I'm not looking forward to. But to be fair, if Manly make top 4, they might rest their big-name stars, which might have a chance there. So, I mean, I'm not going to say finals are gone because I still think we can still get there. But we're going to have to knock off at least one big side, I think, to get there because I don't know if the win-loss record by the way I see it, I don't know if we'll get there, but We've got to beat one of these big sides. It's very important next week against the Roosters. That's a must-win game almost for us. We have to win that.
It is a must-win game, Nick. This is probably the most important period of the season, and we just failed step one really fucking badly, Nick. Really badly. So next Saturday is an absolute must-win. So just to answer your question as well, Corey Jensen, I'm actually not too fond of, mate. I've seen him do some awful things in defence, Nick. And I think he's an okay battering ram, but we need something else. And I'm going to go on a little bit of a Todd Payton walk as well right now. Todd Payton also said in his press conference, for 15, 16 rounds, there are players that are not changing what we've asked them to try and change. There are players in that squad, this is from him, I'm quoting him, that have not changed their game. They're not doing anything. I agree with that. So I'm crossing my fingers that something changes in the squad next week. Now, it will anyway. And off the top of my head, Connolly Lemuelu and Tuolangi paired each other for the first time. So they don't know each other's games. But your first graders, you've been together all season. You've got to do better than what you offered tonight, boys. And Kyle Felt and David Bowen, man, you are the more senior players of the group, really, and you were just as bad as the rookies on the other side. Something needs to change, obviously. Now, as so far as the draw goes, right, I'm fearing, I'm absolutely dreading the Melbourne Storm. Absolutely.
Oh, bro, I really do. I don't even want to play them. I don't want to play them. They're fucking insane. You know, I don't want to say this because it's pretty harsh, but hopefully Melbourne have a few injuries and like a lot of their big names are out. That's the only thing I can really hope for. Maybe someone's a bit sore at training. Maybe someone's got a bit of a tight calf or maybe a tight hamstring. Maybe, you know, maybe if I have a few players there, we might have a chance. But I'm telling you right now, Melbourne are expected to be at full strength that round, and oh god, they're going to put 50 on us. I can promise you, they're going to kill us. But
we got two Queensland derbies as well. We've got Bankwest Stadium in our future, and we've got Manly coming up, where hopefully they will rest a couple of players, and I think they will. Manly will be in a position to rest some players because I think they'll nab fourth spot actually on the ladder. But you are right, and I want to say this because I hope this can happen. But that Dragons Cowboys game is happening on my birthday. I live in Canberra, and I'm going to buy tickets hopefully to drive up to Wollongong and celebrate that day and whatever. So, but that is absolutely crucial, that game. And after what the Red V did, and I've got to try and stop myself here before I go over the line, but what the Dragons squad did over the weekend, and the more stories that we've heard, like Matt Duffy bolting 5 kilometers back to his home, they're a fucking embarrassing cunt of a team. What an absolute disgrace they are. So I don't want to lose to Dragons and then at the same time, on the same day, have our finals chances extinguished as well, mate. And another thing too, Nick, is I'm worried now for next season. And the reason for that is they've signed Chad Townsend and Tom Dearden and Peter Hickey. I've already said that. We know that. But they've re-signed Lemuelu as so much recently as the other day. And Todd Payton said at the start of the year, we need a world-class centre. We would like a world-class centre. And we would like a world-class second rower. Now, I asked that Kurt Capewell question to you the other night because Kurt Capewell comes in instead of done all right. You and I take that every other fucking day, mate. We take that every other day. So Todd Payton, it's not as if he's gone back on his word, but he's failed in that regard. He re-signed David Bowen. He's re-signing all these youngsters. And it's going to be effectively the same squad for next season. And unless if you can hire a defensive coach that can come up and finally make things click, it's going to be more of the same next season where we're battling on the edge of the top 8 when we had a mountain of cash to splash over these past couple of months, Nick. And we spent it on re-signing the current crop. So I'm fearing that it's not going to change next year, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I think Peter Hicker's a good signing. I mean, I know he's had a few injuries. He hasn't even played a game this year due to injury, but I like Peter Hicker as a signing. I think, on your Kurt Capel theory, the Cowboys, in my opinion, I don't know if you'll agree with this. I know this guy's had his tempers in the past. They have got to sign Tavita Pangai Jr.
I'd take him, Nick. I'd take him.
They have to pick him up. They have to sign him.
And he's coming to a club that is I like the culture in the Cowboys is quite high compared to other cunts in the rugby league. Yeah. If Tavita Pangai Jr. comes up, he comes up on a lesser salary, and he comes up and respects the joint. Because I don't like the cut of Tavita Pangai Jr.'s jib, but fair income when he switches on. And I think Jonathan Thurston and Matt Scott and other club legends and everyone around the club, if they can get in his ear and mature him, because he's still a pretty young dude, man. Yeah, if he can go up and mature and become what he really could be, which is not even Jason Taumalolo 2.0, but just his own Tavita Pangai Jr., he can do some wild things, man, and I would take him in a heartbeat, mate. But for a lesser salary and pretty much a two-chance contract, basically. If you hit the Terps one night and you do something wrong, that's your one chance. And then if it does something else, then, you might be out on your ass, because I don't want someone to come up and start causing drunken havoc. You know what I mean?
Well, what I was going to suggest, if they can sign Tavita Pangai Jr., the forward pack could be Hess in the front row, shift Tamalolo to the front row. So Hess Tamalolo at prop, Robinson at 9, Pangai at back row with Dunn, and Ruben Cotter at number 13 when he comes back from injury. I mean, that's a pretty solid pack. And look, off the bench, if you keep McLean, that could be okay for the bench. So, we still have money. Francis Molo's going to St. George next year. Josh Maguire's already left, so we've still got money there. That $800,000, $900,000 price tag that we still have in the salary cap as we speak to throw money at someone. I mean, we've offered Dale Finucane a 2-year deal. I don't know what's going on there. I'd love to sign Dale Finucane. Finucane would be great, but we have enough money for Finucane and Pangai. But if we can, I'll be happy with one of them. But if we can splash both, that would make our team a lot better. But I think the biggest issue is the halves. I like Drinkwater, but do you think it's time for the Hammer to go to fullback?
Oh, that's the $1 million question, isn't it, Nick? Nah, look, the Holmes, I think, was the winger for the first 4 rounds of the season, mate, and we didn't get a win. So I think he's got to stay at fullback. Hammer stays at centre. Boy, howdy, I really hope they lock up Hammer. I'll lock up Hammer before you go out buying Dale Finucane and Tavita Pangai Jr. for me personally anyway, man. Jordan McLean's still on contract for next season as well. His contract expires at the end of next year as well. So you got 18 months more of Macca, Nick. Hey.
Don't even want to mention his name. Can't stand the bastard. Overrated piece of shit. The other thing I want to mention too before we do end this stream very soon, Murray Talangi is off contract. He still hasn't been re-signed. I'm a fan. I like the kid, but tonight wasn't a good sign. It really could affect his contract situation with defence. So I'm a little bit concerned that we haven't re-signed with Murray Talangi just yet.
I'm concerned too, man. I don't know why Todd Payton hasn't done it. I mean, I think Hammer and Tuolangi have formed a really nice combination since Leichhardt Oval or just a little bit prior hand. I think they're a really good edge combination, mate. And just back on your point on, I don't agree with you on having Tamalolo as a front rower partnering with Hess, because I think, as we said before, Tamalolo as an edge forward or as a linking lock is just too good to pass up on. And it's something that Peter Sterling and Phil Gould mentioned in the call, admittedly. But there was a bit of passing going on from Jason Tamalolo, wasn't there?
There was
and
a bit. Yeah.
there was a little bit of passing there, so that's a good sign. But again, you were up by 12 points to 2. Why did you take off what was working for you? If Tamalolo, Hess, and McLean stayed on the paddock for the rest of that half, probably only ends up as a 12-all scoreline at halftime. But you bring on these young blokes, and they cracked, mate.
I'm telling you, if Tamalolo stays in the field for the whole half, we are leading at halftime. I'm telling you.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
We are leading at halftime if Tamalolo stays on the field. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you have a look at Tamalolo. Like, we all know he's the best forward in the game when he's fully fit. His first half was world class. And then, I don't know what top 8 was feeling in the second half. I think he's lost the plot of what he did in the second half. But if Tamalolo stays on the field for the whole first half, we are leading at halftime by at least a try. Like, there's no doubt about that. But before we get out of here, it was a rough night at the office for us, obviously. Hopefully we can bounce back against the Roosters next week, which is going to be a very, very big game for us. You know, next week for us could even be a small finals game, technically, because
we will, mate. We'll bounce back. Yep.
Because if we lose next week, we'll be 6-11. Now, in my opinion, I think to finish 7th or 8th this year, I think that team will have more losses than wins, because I think with the whole top 6 on how good that is, I think 7 and 8, you could make the top 8 this year with more losses than wins with the whole situation. So next week is a very, very important game. So, you know, we need the Sharks to beat the Warriors to help us out a little bit. If the Warriors beat the Sharks, we'll end up in 13th, which I don't think is fair, because I think we're a better team than that. I think we're a team that will probably finish between 8th and 12th. I don't see us going lower than 12th. I said at the start of the year, I said we'll finish 8th. I don't know if that will happen. It's hard to really say. Like, you know, win 2 or 3 in a row, you're back with that top 8. Well, basically, you win 2 in a row, you're back with that top 8 bracket. So I feel like anything lower than 12th would be a bit of a failure for us. So we really have to beat the Roosters. It's such a big game next week. But before we get out of here, mate, if you can possibly come up with someone, is there 3 players tonight that you thought were our best from 3 to 1 that were good at all?
Probably not in order, mate, but Tamalolo, Robson, and Hess. Honestly, Hess did some really good things. And just while I'm thinking of it, this is just another nitpick as well.
Yeah,
Hess came back on, and the first thing that Tom did was kick the ball on the 4th tackle, and it went straight down the throat of the fullback. But he put that kick in for Hess, not Hammer, not Drinkwater or anyone quicker. He put it in for Hess. What was he going to do? It was an awful decision by Dearden. I know he's still young. He'll get better, hopefully. But so, look, for all the negativity that we have expressed tonight, again, in a big loss, there's about half an hour of really good quality footy by the Cowboys, mate.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a little bit of positivity to come out of it, but we just can't defend our own errors, and we fall into a slump so easily and quickly. I'm getting a real gutful of it now, mate. It's been going on. I hate to say it, Nick. It's been going on since Jonathan Thurston retired, mate. And probably a little bit beforehand as well. 2018 was supposed to be the big Cowboy year. And they just played like they knew they were losing an immortal. And it's been, not 2019. This sort of Cowboy play has been happening since 2018. And
Yeah,
it's not excusable anymore now, man.
that's right.
We've had a fucking gutful of it now.
I don't know about you, but I'd be very tempted next week. Now, I don't want to change the spine again because I'm just sick of changing the team every week, but I'd be very, very tempted to put Dejan Assi at halfback, Drinkwater 6, Holmes 1. I'd be so tempted to do that because I think Dearden's confidence at the moment is shot. And I thought, if I had to go for a top three players for us tonight, in no particular order, I would say Drinkwater had a fair game. I thought he tried really hard. Dejan Assi, I thought, tried hard as well. And Tamalolo was clearly our best player. I'd be tempted to put Assi to 7 because I think his kicking game is better than Dearden's at the moment. I don't know what you reckon. You agree with that or you disagree?
No, we got to do something different now. Like, it's almost like, sorry, Tommy, but we're going to put you back down into reserve grade and you need to chip away and get to know the rest of the club and whatnot. But yeah, I agree with you, man. Our finals hopes are, how shit is this to say? Our finals hopes are on the line next week, mate, and we've got to do something. It feels like it. Our for and against, you could argue, we're already down a further 2 points, for God's sake.
Mate, our for and against is fucking minus 187.
Oh, well, we haven't cracked 200 yet, so that's all right.
Until next week. We'll win, or actually, no, we'll lose 34 fucking 18, and then we'll have the for and against at 200. But who knows, honestly. Next week.
Honestly, my back line, Nick, to answer your question, Nick, would be Valentine Holmes at fullback. You have Tuolangi and Hammer in the centres on one side. You have Lemuelu and Kyle Felt as the other centre pairing because David Bowen, for me, he did his dash a couple of years ago. And then you have Drinkwater and Arcee as the halves combination next week, man. That's exactly what I would do.
Well, this is what I would do. I would go fullback Kyle Felt. I'm starting to get impatient with Kyle Felt at fullback, but I'd go, Holmes, Yeah, I'd go Val at fullback even though I'm getting impatient. Wingers, I'd go with Felt and Talangi again. And centers, I'd go with Hammer. And it's so hard to pick another center. You're probably just going to go with Bowen. I mean, I know he's been bad. Bowen and Lamelu, they've both been very average, but I feel like Bowen's played more games in the last 8 weeks. And to be honest, if I had to rate Bowen and Lamelu, I'd probably rate Bowen a little bit more. But
he is a bigger body. I get what you mean. Yep.
Yeah. But before we go, would the Hammer and Kyle Felt be a good combination?
No, I think one's exclusively left and one's exclusively right. I think, Nick. I think so, man. So, but if they were on the same, if they could, you wouldn't you?
Yeah, it'd be frightening, wouldn't it? You would. It'd be frightening. It'd be a good combination. But anything else you want to say, bro, before we get out of here?
No, thank you for organising all this. It sort of came at the last second in a way.
That's all right.
Look, we're a chance for next week, Nick. We really are. But I mean, in front of the faithful, man, even if they go down, you got to restrict the Roosters to 20 points or under. That's how we're going to win next week, mate.
Just show some guts, honestly. Show some guts. So
exactly, mate.
We'll see how they go next week. But big thank you to Sam Revill for coming on for the Rabbitohs versus Cowboys review for tonight. Make sure you guys go and check out Sam's YouTube channel. I'll leave a link in the description below, so go and subscribe to it if you haven't already. But guys, we're getting out of here. We're disappointed. We're going to go cry ourselves in a hole for the rest of the night. But guys, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one. Oh, yeah, and before I go, have a great night. And you know what, Liam Knight, if you're watching, go fuck yourself, Liam Knight. See you later, lads.